Hey everybody, welcome back to the program. Today I'm counting down my top 10 artists that were new to me that released albums in 2020. So yeah, in case you don't get it, basically these are artists that were new to me in 2020 that also released albums in the same year. And we're gonna start with number 10, Early James with Singin' for My Supper. Overall, this record is a wonderful mix of traditional country folk with this great funky soul injected into it, but it's Early James's voice that really seals the deal for me. It's got this raspiness. It's like scraping butter over toast, but it's got this warm softness too. It really is just totally unique. I love it. The instrumentation on here is also fantastic. It reminds me a bit of the Wrecking Crew, that sort of vibe, that sort of studio sound, just really top-notch players doing what they love, and this record has got that in spades. Overall, I just love the vibe of this record. It's got a great variety of song styles as well. At number 9, I have Holy Wave with Interloper. Think of psychedelic surf music injected with some 90s, early 2000 electronic music, and you get a pretty good feeling for this band. I loved each track and I couldn't wait to see what the next one was gonna be. At number 8, I have Color Theory by Soccer Mommy. Oh my gosh, this has got such a great late 90s, early 2000s alternative vibe. She nails it so well. I kept like going back and like double checking that this came out in 2020. Overall, it's got such a great, fun, sort of poppy vibe about it. Makes you feel good. There's some great guitar hooks on here. Love this record. At number 7, I have Mild Life with Automatic. Now, I already talked about this album on an episode of Awesome Finds, but to sum up, this is a great blend of jazz, funk, soul, and rock with these great electronic elements and synths galore. This is upbeat enough to dance to, but it's also chill enough to relax to, and I love that blend. It's got sort of like a Saturday evening kind of getting ready for the nightlife kind of vibe about it, like a warm afternoon, like a warm evening. Love this record. I would say vocally this album is mellow and it's less about the lyrics and more about the overall vibe and sort of the texture of it. And that's what this album has in spades, is this multi-layered, multi-textured, sonic swirling all around you, makes you feel good kind of an album. At the number 6 spot, I have Music for Working Out by Aiming for Enrique. And I love how weird this record is. It's like they opened up my head, poked around in my brain, and came out with the exact sounds and songs that I want to hear while working out. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. There's something so fascinating about their music to me. It is 100% instrumental music. It's very staccato and clipped, but it moves at a great pace. It's very danceable. At times it can kind of sound frantic, but other times it's inspiring. If I were to kind of sum it up, if you've never heard them, this record in particular reminds me of the early 2000s dance punk phase that happened. I think some of you may remember that. Kind of reminds me of that, but this has more in common with electronic music. It's less kind of drums and guitar. Even though there are guitars on here, it's much more of electronic kind of dance music-esque, but it's way more weird. and weird in the sense that just kind of two creative guys having fun and less like weird for weird's sake. It's just like really interesting mashups of sound and texture. Yeah. At number 5, I have Blue in Exile with their album Miles. The production of this record is top notch. Exile did a wonderful job of blending kind of these old school hip hop beats with jazz samples and record scratches. Everything's blended so well together and it flows really well with the rhymes of Blue. He's got a really great swagger with his delivery, and just the combination of the two really makes this record for me. Now, the title Miles is in reference to how far they've come since their debut album, but it's also a tribute to Miles Davis. And you hear his samples on this record, and at over 20, it's around 20 songs, I think. There's a lot to unpack here, and I encourage you to go on your own journey. Check this album out. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. It's got some great throwbacks to old school hip hop, but it's also like here and now, fresh and current. So, love this record. At number 4, I have Dinner Party with Dinner Party / Dessert. Now this is actually 2 different albums, but I couldn't decide which I loved more. Dessert is basically a remixed version with more guest artists, and it's hosted by Snoop Dogg. Now, if you're not familiar, Dinner Party is a supergroup consisting of Terrence Martin, Robert Glasper, Ninth Wonder, and Kamasi Washington. Both records are a blend of modern jazz with hip hop, and as the title would suggest, these would be great at a dinner party. They are chill, relaxed, and it's got a killer vibe. All right, everybody, we are down to the top 3, and kicking things off at number 3 is Yves Tumor with Heaven to a Tortured Mind. This is a record where I have no idea how to describe it, nor do I know how to classify it. It's like he took a little bit of every genre, and I mean every genre, even classical, put it into a blender and came up with this fantastic cocktail of a record. It's so nuanced and finely produced. It's catchy, funky, punky, soulful, aching, heartfelt, all of these qualities rolled into one, and it really got me through some of the tougher times of 2020. At number 2, I have Eternal Champion with Ravening Iron. Holy cow, these guys are amazing. I don't know how they did it, but they took the 80s metal sound that I love and did it in a way that sounds new and fresh and without sounding like a gimmick. These guys aren't a throwback band. They have their own look. They're not trying to be like, you know, a hair glam metal band, but they're honest to God love this genre, and they're reproducing it so well. The guitar licks, the drumming, the singing, all of it, the bass playing all of it is there, and I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love the aesthetic of their album cover. It's just like, it just feels epic. I love this record. And at the number 1 spot, I have What's Your Pleasure by Jessie Ware. Fellow YouTuber Middle8 recommended this album to me, and initially I didn't get it. I was just like, I don't understand what the big deal is. It's just pop music, whatever. But the second time I heard it, that's when things really clicked, and I fell in love with this album. It's such a love letter to 70s disco and 80s dance tracks that I got over whatever hangups I had about it and just fell in love with the unpretentiousness of this record. It purely is made from a love of these genres, and the production on here is so very good. It's so precise. It's just like every little beat, every little note was thought about. Like, should it go here? Should it go there? Where should this level be? Like, it just sounds so clean, so crisp that it's like they took these old songs, dusted them off, polished them, put a brand new coat of paint on it, and here it is for you to enjoy. And I think that's ultimately what won me over, is that this is a joy to listen to. You can tell Jessie had a great time on this album, and it just shows with every beat, with every song. I love this album, and I think you'll enjoy it too. All right, everybody, that will do it for today. Be sure to let me know what new artists you discovered in 2020. Until then, thank you all so much for watching. I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey everyone, thanks again for watching my top 10 new artists of 2020. Now, I put a couple of other videos that might interest you, including my top 10 albums of 2020.